Hello all, welcome to Half Wall Hockey. We're up to 94 subs now, so we're starting to get more views per video. So thank you again for joining me on this hockey prospect evaluation journey. If you're interested in written reports of prospects, there are some already up at half-wallhockey.com, and there's more to come there. We're also going to have some other writers on the site soon as well, so get ready for that if you're somebody who visits the site often anyways. Alright, so I want to preface this video by saying that although I'm a Sharks fan, I'm not really a homer in terms of prospect evaluation. Some prospects I'm a little lower on, some I'm a little higher on. But regardless, I'm going to give you my actual opinion on them and where I think their career might go. Just saying this because Ozzy has some flaws that I want to touch on, and I hope you guys can see what I mean by the end of this video. Could I be wrong and Ozzy is destined for an all-star top 6 forward career? Sure. But regardless, here we go. So Ozzy Wiesblatt was drafted in 2020. He's the last pick of the first round, number 31 overall by the San Jose Sharks. He spent his D+1 year with a slight uptick in his production from his draft year in the WHL, and then went back for this season, his D+2 season, and he hit kind of a downswing. He produced 41 points in 43 games for the Prince Albert Raiders, which was the best point per game pace on his team, but he didn't lead his team in scoring overall. And he decreased his production pretty substantially from the year before, in a time when he really should be increasing it in his development curve. So let's look at Mitch Brown's data on Ozzy this year. There's a substantial change from his prior 2 years in the WHL, with across-the-board worse numbers. Ozzy's numbers are always highlighted by a great ability to exit the defensive zone, enter the offensive zone, good transition numbers overall, but his shooting stats leave something to be desired, especially in this year. He did have some injury concerns throughout the year, but from what I saw, other than affecting his shot, which we'll definitely talk about, I'm not sure if that's really what was harming his game this year. Let's talk about how he approaches handling the puck first. So spoiler alert, the carry category is Ozzy's best category. He's a gifted puck handler. He's often showing off his handling skills multiple times a shift. He maintains possession of the puck at high speeds, and he attempts, maybe a bit too often, to beat defenders with his hands. He has great agility and acceleration, but he really lacks a high-end top gear, so that's why he's only grading it at like a 6.5 for speed. Still, he utilizes crossovers, quick footwork to gain speed quickly, and he doesn't have to slow his feet down to match his hands at all, operating at high speeds pretty much all the time. The main issue, though, is Ozzy has real difficulty switching off. He has problems with keeping his head up while deking to spot teammates, spots on the ice, or other ways to get himself out of situations. I'll show you what I mean in a bit, but let's start off with the good first. Really love this simple inside-out move from Ozzy here, just right past the defender. So from these first few clips, you can see Ozzy has great speed, some good puck protection habits, and really fast hands. He operates in a stick handle first, ask questions later kind of manner. Oftentimes this is to his detriment though, so as he can keep stick handling into nowhere. He's sort of like this clip of this kid flossing in the stands. You just want to pat him on the shoulder and tell him, alright Ozzy, that's enough now, please stop. Here's a good one. He cuts into the zone with really great speed. He blows by a defender, and then he stick handles himself into a corner, and then flings a low percentage shot on net. Again, this time he gets into the zone, stick handles himself into a corner until all he has is a low percentage dump in. Or this one where he gets into the zone and stick handles himself to nowhere. Or this one where he goes into the corner and loses it. Alright, Ozzy. Oh, you thought we were done? Hell no. There's so many more stick handles to nowhere, deeks to freedom, jukes to salvation, dangles for victory. Alright, you get the point. Just a few more. Ozzy has issues with making decisions once he gets the puck. He repeatedly, and I mean repeatedly, will force himself into low percentage situations where he's trying to stick handle. He'll keep going and going until the only option left is to dump in, take a weak shot, or a turnover. It all has to do with his head, as he cannot keep his head up to scan for options when he's trying to beat defenders. When he does, though, he really does make some beautiful things happen in the distribution category. So Ozzy is going to score a 6 overall here in the distribution category, which puts him right around a third liner in this category. Ozzy rates high in transition, mostly because of his ability to get the puck into the offensive zone himself, so that bit is more connected with his carry category than his distribution category, if you know what I mean. Anyways, Ozzy has some good aspects of his passing ability, and some bad aspects. First, what I've identified before is that he lacks vision when he's stick handling or protecting the puck. His head will dip and he'll lose sight of his teammates. When he has his head up though and he's actively looking for a pass, he has a very specific seam pass, which is actually really pretty. He does have an over-reliance on the cross-ice pass as well, on both the power play and at even strength, which we'll see a lot. These first 5 or so clips are all cross-ice passes. He's got his head up, but he doesn't really display much deception with these passes. He doesn't look off defenders or shift his hands at all. And if you watch Ozzy long enough, you know where he's going to go with the puck, and I'll demonstrate that in a bit. He can usually hit these pretty well, but as we'll see, he'll force these passes to the detriment of his team sometimes. Ozzy is normally set up on the half wall in the offensive zone, which kind of limits his options for plays, really. I think because of this position, he only sees the cross-ice pass, and as you'll see, a lot of times he just misses it or forces it over defender's sticks instead of trying to find a different lane for passing. Like this one. Let's pause right here. Where's Ozzy going with this puck? Is he going to shoot? Is he going to pass to his defender in front for a jam play? Or is he going to slap shot pass through 4 defenders' legs and sticks and lose the puck? I think we all kind of know the answer. I've done a lot of shit talking of Ozzy so far in this video, but this is actually what got me excited for Ozzy in the first place when I watched him the year before. I saw this clip from the AHL in 2021. Notice how little of a window he has to thread that puck through. This is a common type of pass for Ozzy, this seam pass, and he has an accuracy to hit these really well. Sometimes these seam passes are really a thing of beauty from him. Again, with his heads up, he's got a decent ability to hit a man in stride, and that's why he's grading okay in this category, despite some other flaws in his distribution play. These two clips kind of demonstrate why sometimes he's a little inaccurate, sometimes he goes a little too fast with his passes and is leading us forward a little bit. This play always gives me a little bit of a chuckle, to be honest. Ozzy is going to get this pass, and immediately without drawing any defender towards him or allowing any time for his teammate who just passed the puck to him to get into space, he just throws it right back at him. I think he expected to get it back again, but it just didn't make too much sense there when all he did was put it back into an area with two defenders when he had all the time in the world to set up another play at the point. Alright, this is the last negative play, I swear, and I also want to say that I do like his passing overall, but Ozzy, my boy, what are you doing? Ozzy will just give away possession sometimes. He'll either pass to no one or stick handle to no one like we've seen before. It's like he runs out of options, and instead of prolonging plays or waiting for teammates, he quite literally just gives up on them, and this happens pretty frequently. Well, we all have to go down before we go up, right? Actually, recording this now, I feel like I'm being very negative towards Ozzy. There's lots of good aspects to him, and I hope you're seeing both of them during this video. But the finish category might be being affected by his shoulder injury this year, but there's some definite flaws in his shooting mechanics, as well as his shooting decisions, that cause him to grade so low in this category. In fact, it's rare for a prospect to grade this low here, but Ozzy just did not have an effective way to put the puck in the net this year in the WHL. Are you ready for some quick math? So Ozzy scored 10 goals in 43 games this year, 46 games if you count the playoffs. Out of those 10 goals, 2 were shorthanded, 2 were on the power play, and 6 were at even strength. Out of those 6 even strength goals, 2 were empty net goals. 1 was a tip in front of the net, 1 was a rebound, 1 was a behind the net bank shot off the goalie, and 1 was a wrist shot in the slot. One single time in 46 games did Ozzy beat a goaltender with his shot at even strength. Playing top line minutes, that's very, very troublesome. So let's take a look at why. Here's the aforementioned even strength goal. It's a good snapshot with lots of time and space in prime position. So why wasn't this more common for him? First, it's his shot selection. Oftentimes, Ozzy opts for low percentage shots that are easily blocked that you can see in these clips. It's mostly on the power play, but he will often try to shoot through defenders instead of establishing a lane to shoot first. Second biggest issue for him is his accuracy. This shift highlights 2 separate chances down low where the worst option is to shoot the puck wide. A wide shot this tight to the goal often spells the end of the offensive shift and even a breakaway going the other way if the puck bounces right. But in tight twice, Ozzy misses wide trying to pick a corner. It's a common theme, and as even with time and space to get a shot off, he misses. Is some of that luck? Yeah, sure. Some of it isn't, though. He's shooting from the outside on the vast majority of his shots, and most get blocked or miss the net. This is an example of what he's trying to do with that outside shot, and one of the few times it actually worked on the power play. I actually like this play from Ozzy because it shows patience. He doesn't just jam the puck at the sliding defender, he waits, curls, and launches a good shot on net with traffic in front. Same thing here where he uses his deking ability to get around a defender first, exhibits patience and gets a good shooting opportunity for it. Finally, on a happier note, we're going to segue into the retrieval category with this nice shorthanded breakaway goal from Ozzy. Ultimately, I think this is where Ozzy has the most opportunity to stick in the NHL with his game, as it's pretty well rounded with some good habits already. Ozzy grades as a solid 6 in this category. Ultimately, he's not afraid to get physical for a prospect of his size. He loves throwing some big hits when he can, and he uses this as a weapon on the forecheck and when he's trying to knock the puck off defenders or attackers in the defensive zone. Sometimes, however, he can get away from the play at hand, launching a hit that is ill-advised, or just takes him out of the play entirely. He has some good defensive positioning with a habit of forcing play to the outside with his pass that he takes while he's skating in the defensive zone, which I really like. But he does have some issues with stealing pucks sometimes. He needs to work on actively using his stick to strip and steal rather than just having the stick be in the right place, if that makes sense, because a lot of times it's kind of a weak stick check. So right away, you'll notice if Ozzy is on his game, he's hitting. He's at his best when he's using his body to separate man from puck, and I think that with some refinement, he can effectively use his body at the next level to provide some energy for a line. He's not as good as a hitter as someone like Raska in the Sharks system, but honestly, out of Coe, Robbins, Gushin, Bordelot, Cardwell, and Bstad that we've profiled so far, he's probably the best hitter. I think because of this physicality and his ability to stick handle and puck protect, he has some aspects of a pest type player. I think he could get under an opponent's skin with his physicality, draw penalties like he did in this clip at the top of the screen by shielding pucks and essentially playing keep away from defenders. Ozzy displays intelligent positioning defensively. He can track his man but maintains enough space to not get beat. His agility allows him to keep up with the play, and he often can find the right times to strike to clear pucks or cut off passing lanes. This is a good example where he's tracking well, forcing play to the outside, but he needs to put up a better stick check to not get beat. He doesn't give up though, and ultimately he does find the loose puck here for a clear. Alright, this is a typical defensive shift from Ozzy, so keep your eye on number 19. He's starting off with a good physical play in the corner to separate his man from the puck. His team is ultimately going to lose the puck after though. He's already starting his breakout, so he provides support and then grabs a loose puck. He needed to get it out there though, but you can see after how he's angling play to the outside with his body. He gets a block because of it, and I love the recognition here to try and cut off the passing lane behind the attacker, forcing him into a 3-on-1 where he loses the puck behind the net. He assists on the breakout afterwards. He plays decoy, but he could have gone a little bit wider towards the weak side of the ice to draw his defender towards him instead of behind his teammate entering the zone. Alright, now it's shocker time. Ozzy is going to get a 5.5, which is the lowest grade I've given on this channel so far. With every player, I try to ask myself, what is the realistic role this player could play if he utilizes his skills and makes logical progressions in them? I don't believe Ozzy is suddenly going to become a good goal scorer at the next level, and it would be illogical to assume that a drastic change is really possible. The same with the fact that I don't think Gushin is going to become a heavy hitter or a puck retrieval specialist in the next level. 2 years after players drafted, certain habits start to emerge and patterns develop that can predict where a player might end up. To me, I see Ozzy as a third or probably fourth line pesty energy type player. A player who's quick, he's got good hands, but doesn't really have the vision or the shot to create many offensive chances once he really gets the puck up ice. He's kind of like a decoy player. Energy guys are there to wear out the opponent with hits, frequent puck rushes, and they're there to draw penalties by being very pesty. I think Ozzy has this ability in him, but I caution some people who think he has the offensive ability to really play above a third line role, I think. Even if his dangles are really dirty and his mitts are really silky. I think in recent years, players like Fabian Liesel and Brad Lambert kind of come to mind, although neither of them have really the physical edge that Ozzy does, but both of them are probably more skilled than Ozzy is. Either way, they're players that have a great ability to get up ice, but then once they get there, it's like their mind just kind of shuts off, and that's what I worry about Ozzy. Alright, that's all for now. The prospect board is really filling up, and I hope people aren't too upset with where Ozzy landed on this list, to be honest. I still want to preface that this is like a realistic ceiling/projection ranking, and prospects could bust and never develop, as I'm listing here. In fact, if all of these players hit these ceilings, I think the world would crown the Sharks the best drafting team in the NHL. I hope you're all ready for, on our next episode, the one and only, the Swedish boy king, William Eklund. So thank you all for watching.